John Wick lives in a world blanketed by profound silence, mourning the untimely death of his beloved wife, Helen. His modern, isolated home feels like a hollow shell, filled only with the echoes of his quiet heartbreak and agonizing isolation. The days blur together in a haze of sorrow, as he aimlessly drifts through the empty rooms that once held laughter, warmth, and a shared future. Every corner of the house serves as a painful reminder of his monumental loss, deepening the heavy, suffocating atmosphere of his grief. John struggles to find a single reason to anchor himself to reality, completely disconnected from the bustling society around him. He is a man utterly marooned in his own mind, frozen in time while the rest of New York City moves forward. The silence of his routine is deafening, highlighting a total absence of purpose or direction in his newly shattered life. He watches old videos of Helen on his phone, desperately clinging to the digital remnants of her voice and smile. These brief, glowing moments on the small screen are his only solace, yet they also amplify the stark reality of his current solitude. He goes through the motions of existence, breathing but not truly living, trapped in an unending loop of sorrowful memories and unspoken regrets. Without her presence, the world has completely lost its color, leaving him to navigate an endless, gray expanse of emotional desolation entirely on his own. The monotonous silence of John's grieving routine is unexpectedly broken by the sharp, persistent sound of a doorbell ringing early in the morning. A deliveryman stands on the porch, holding a wooden crate that contains a final, posthumous arrangement orchestrated by his late wife. Inside the box is an adorable beagle puppy named Daisy, accompanied by a deeply moving letter written by Helen before she passed away. In the letter, she explains that she sent this little creature to help him learn to love and live again. Helen knew that he would need a companion, a literal lifeline, to guide him through the dark, treacherous waters of his inevitable sorrow. The sudden presence of the energetic puppy instantly injects a fragile ray of hope into the cold, sterile environment of the house. Daisy represents a living extension of Helen's enduring affection, a tiny, breathing reminder that John is not entirely alone in the universe. At first, John is visibly hesitant, unsure if he possesses the capacity to care for another living being while his heart is broken. However, the puppy's unconditional warmth and playful innocence quickly begin to chip away at his thick, protective armor of grief. He feeds her, sets up a small bed, and allows her to sleep at the very foot of his mattress. For the first time since the tragic funeral, a faint, genuine sense of purpose begins to stir within his weary soul. John decides to take his classic, immaculate 1969 Boss 429 Mustang out for a drive to clear his mind, with Daisy sitting happily. He pulls into a local, quiet gas station to fill up the tank, enjoying the brief sensation of the powerful engine beneath him. Suddenly, a trio of arrogant Russian mobsters pulls up in a sleek, expensive vehicle, instantly altering the atmosphere of the station. The reckless leader of the group, a young man named Isf Tarasov, takes notice of John's rare, beautifully restored muscle car. Isf approaches John with a swagger, brazenly demanding to know the price of the vehicle and insisting on buying it immediately. John calmly but firmly declines the offer, stating in smooth Russian that the classic automobile is absolutely not for sale. This unexpected linguistic revelation visibly startles the young gangster, piercing through his sense of criminal entitlement and immediate superiority. Isf attempts to intimidate John, leaning close to the window and uttering a crude insult before stroking the puppy aggressively. John maintains complete composure, his icy stare refusing to flinch under the weight of the young punk's blatant, unprovoked threats. The tension between the two men hangs heavily in the air, a silent, volatile storm waiting for a spark to ignite. Sensing John's total lack of fear, Isf eventually backs away, muttering final veiled warnings before driving off into the afternoon. John watches them leave, unaware that this brief encounter has set a catastrophic sequence of events into motion. In the dead of night, the peaceful sanctity of John's home is violently shattered by masked intruders sneaking through the darkness. The men slip through the glass doors, moving with a reckless, practiced stealth that betrays their sinister intentions for the night. John is jolted awake by the sudden, panicked barking of Daisy, but before he can react, a heavy blow strikes him down. He is brutally assaulted in the hallway, caught completely off guard as the ruthless attackers rain down a barrage of kicks. The leading intruder reveals himself to be Iosif Tarasov, driven by a petty desire to steal the coveted Mustang car. In a senseless act of cruelty, the thugs kill the tiny puppy right in front of John's helpless, blurred vision. They leave John bleeding and semi-conscious on the cold floor, mockingly wishing him a good night as they steal his car keys. The physical pain of the beating is nothing compared to the crushing emotional agony tearing through John's fractured soul. He drags his bruised body across the floor, cradling the lifeless form of the innocent animal that represented his salvation. The fragile thread linking him to humanity, and to the memory of his wife, has been brutally severed by greed. As the sun rises, John buries the puppy in the backyard, his overwhelming sadness hardening into a cold, terrifying resolve. The grieving husband is gone, replaced by a dark, long-dormant entity that is ready to emerge. Iosif proudly takes the stolen Mustang to a high-end chop shop, expecting a quick turnaround for new papers and parts. The shop owner, Aurelio, instantly recognizes the vehicle and realizes the cataclysmic mistake the young punk has made in his ignorance. Aurelio punches Iosif in the face, refusing to touch the vehicle and casting a shadow of panic over the crew. Word of the incident quickly reaches Iosif's father, Vigo Tarasov, the powerful and ruthless head of the Russian crime syndicate. Vigo summons his arrogant son to his office, his face pale with an immediate, deep-seated sense of genuine dread. He demands to know if Iosif truly understands whose vehicle he stole and whose life he so recklessly upended. When Iosif dismisses the owner as a nobody, Vigo delivers a brutal, physical lesson to check his son's pride. He explains that the man they crossed is John Wick, a legendary, peerless assassin once in their direct employ. Vigo describes John not as the mythical boogeyman. He wields a heavy sledgehammer, swinging it with a rhythmic, explosive fury that shatters the gray concrete beneath his feet. Each strike is fueled by a volatile cocktail of absolute rage, bitter grief, and an unyielding desire for total vengeance. As the top layer crumbles away, it reveals a heavy, buried suitcase concealed beneath the foundation of his civilian life. John pries open the container, looking down at the dark, lethal tools of his former, highly specialized profession. Neatly arranged inside are various automatic handguns, tactical knives, and stacks of shiny, gold coins used in the underworld. The gleam of the gold reflects in his eyes, marking his official transition back into a world of shadows. He systematically cleans, inspects, and loads each weapon with a cold, practiced efficiency that has not faded with time. The muscle memory returns instantly, every click of a magazine confirming the rebirth of the deadliest assassin in history. He casts aside his civilian attire, dressing in a sharp, tailored black suit that serves as his modern armor. John has officially exhumed his past, burying his grief beneath a mountain of tactical gear and lethal intent for the syndicate. He is no longer a mourning widower. He is a predator preparing to hunt down the men who crossed him. Vigo tries to neutralize the threat early, sending a heavily armed 12-man hit squad to eliminate John at home. The assassins infiltrate the dark residence, but John moves like a shadow, systematically eliminating every single intruder with lethal precision. The house becomes a quiet battleground, filled with the muffled sounds of suppressed gunfire and collapsing bodies within minutes. Once the conflict concludes, John calmly makes a phone call to request a dinner reservation for 12 people. This coded phrase summons Charlie and his specialized crew of underworld cleaners to handle the gory aftermath of the battle. The professional team arrives promptly, moving efficiently through the house to pack away the bodies and scrub the blood. They treat the gruesome scene with the casual demeanor of ordinary construction workers, operating under strict professional guidelines. John pays Charlie using the specialized gold coins retrieved from his basement stash, maintaining a calm, respectful rapport. The cleaners work seamlessly, restoring the pristine, immaculate appearance of the home as if no violence had occurred there. This encounter highlights the complex, highly organized infrastructure that governs the hidden society of assassins operating beneath the city. With his home cleared of the mess, John prepares to take the next step in his relentless hunt. He knows Vigo will escalate the conflict, and he must position himself within neutral territory to plan his advance. John arrives at the Continental Hotel, an imposing, luxurious establishment catering exclusively to the elite members of the criminal underworld. He steps into the grand lobby, greeted with quiet respect by the enigmatic, highly professional concierge named Sharon. John uses his gold coins to secure a room, gaining access to the hotel's vast array of specialized services. He meets with Winston, the elegant, calculating manager who oversees the sanctuary and enforces its ancient, unyielding laws. Winston welcomes John back to the fold, acknowledging the tragic circumstances that have driven him out of retirement. However, the manager firmly reminds John of the cardinal, absolute rule governing the existence of the Continental establishment. No business, which is a polite euphemism for assassination and violence, is permitted to be conducted on hotel grounds. Anyone who violates this sacred rule faces immediate, permanent excommunication or a swift, violent execution ordered by management. John nods in understanding, assuring Winston that he simply wants information regarding the exact whereabouts of ISF Terrasal. Winston provides a valuable lead, revealing that ISF is currently hiding out under heavy guard at a nightclub. The hotel serves as a fascinating glimpse into a structured, disciplined society that operates entirely parallel to normal civilization. Safe within the neutral walls, John prepares his strategy, knowing his target is insulated by a small army of soldiers. John descends upon the Red Circle, a trendy, neon-drenched nightclub where ISF is attempting to hide from his destiny. The club is alive with throbbing electronic music, flashing lights, and a massive crowd of oblivious, dancing patrons. John infiltrates the secure VIP section, silently dispatching guards in the shadows before unleashing an all-out assault on the floor. He utilizes a devastating blend of precise marksmanship and close-quarters martial arts, a style known as gun fu, to advance. The security team is utterly overwhelmed by his relentless momentum, as he clears room after room with icy efficiency. Panic erupts through the club as the gunfire intensifies, sending hundreds of terrified civilian patrons fleeing into the streets. John spots ISF across the crowded room, his eyes locking onto the terrified young man who killed his puppy. He pursues him ruthlessly, cutting through a wall of heavily armed mobsters sent to slow his furious advance. However, Vigo's top enforcer, a brutal fighter named Kirill, steps in to intercept John and protect the boss's son. A fierce, exhausting hand-to-hand struggle ensues between the two skilled combatants, crashing through mirrors and railings in the club. Kirill manages to exploit an opening, throwing John through a glass partition and buying ISF enough time to escape. Wounded and bleeding, John is forced to retreat into the rainy night, his immediate mission temporarily thwarted by interference. John returns to his room at the Continental Hotel, his body battered and his deep wounds requiring immediate attention. An underground doctor stitches up his side, warning him to rest and avoid further physical exertion for the night. As John drifts into a light sleep, a lethal shadow creeps along the balcony outside his hotel window. Miss Perkins, a ruthless and opportunistic hitwoman, has sneaked into the building to collect the massive bounty on his head. Vigo has doubled the contract to $2 million, explicitly enticing someone to violate the hotel's sacred rules. Meanwhile, from an adjacent building, John's old friend and mentor, Marcus, watches the scene unfold through a sniper scope. Marcus was hired by Vigo to kill John, but his loyalty to his old friend remains secretly unbroken. Spotting Perkins preparing to strike, Marcus fires a warning shot through the window, shattering the glass near John's head. The sudden explosion of noise alerts John just as Perkins lunges across the room with a silenced weapon. A frantic, close-quarter struggle erupts over the bed, with sheets tearing and furniture shattering in the darkness. John manages to overpower the assassin, pinning her down and forcing her to reveal critical information about Vigo's assets. He learns that Vigo keeps his vast fortune hidden within a secure vault inside a local church. John subdues Perkins, leaving her with a colleague while he prepares to strike at Vigo's financial heart. John targets Little Russia's prominent church, which serves as a clever, heavily guarded front for Vigo's criminal empire. He infiltrates the holy sanctuary, quickly subduing the corrupt priests who act as gatekeepers for the syndicate's wealth. Deep beneath the altar lies a massive, reinforced vault containing millions in cash and invaluable blackmail material on city officials. John forces the staff to open the vault, revealing shelves lined with stacks of illicit currency and ledgers. Instead of stealing the wealth, John systematically douses the entire room in lighter fluid with a calm, deliberate demeanor. He ignites the fuel, watching impassively as the flames consume the financial foundation of the Tarasov crime family. The smoke billows from the church, signaling a catastrophic, irreversible blow to Vigo's authority and control over the city. John exits the burning building, taking up a tactical position across the street to wait for the inevitable response. Vigo arrives shortly after with a massive convoy, his face contorting with absolute fury at the sight of the destruction. His leverage over the city's elite is gone, burned to ashes by the relentless ghost of his past. John opens fire from the shadows, initiating a chaotic shootout that decimates Vigo's remaining personal security detail. The streets become a war zone as John aggressively presses his advantage, determined to force Vigo into a corner. Following a brief capture and a dramatic intervention by Marcus, John successfully corners a desperate, defeated Vigo on the street.